Hey yo, this is another video, so let's go. All right, I'm in a very extremely special place, and looking by the Here Comes the Sun was one of this muse artist, pianist, singer, one of her albums, and I'm gonna go ahead and show you who it was. Yeah, that's right. Well, the letters W-A-Y-M-O-N is Wayman. Her real name is Eunice Wayman, and her name, stage name, was what she went by was Nina Simone, and she became Dr. Nina Simone. All right, and also what I wanted to go ahead and get into it right now. I didn't know I was going to be here on this day. You know, today is a powerful day. Today is actually her birthday, February the 21st. You're like, oh yeah, it is. Yeah, it really is. But what I'm gonna do is I'll probably put this video out much later, at a later date and time. But it's all about the energy and the power, the intentions for everything. So when I got here, you know, I said, let me just take a walk. Got here, took a walk, right? Got here, took a walk. What's the name of that town? Spartanburg, yeah. Spartanburg, South Carolina. From Spartanburg, South Carolina, all the way up to North Carolina, Tryon, North Carolina. Now, doesn't that name Tryon sound familiar? Tyrone. You better call Tyrone. Yeah, better call Tyrone. But I'll handle that much later, at a later date. She, you know, we talk, we converse. But yeah. So what I wanted to get across with this one, but also as you can see, well, like I said earlier, her name Wayman. Eunice Wayman, and she took on the name Nina Simone. A few years back, I got introduced to Nina Simone. I don't remember how exactly it happened. It was like a lot, maybe close to 10 years ago. It's 10, 11 years ago. I got introduced to her, and I've been got some of her albums and whatever. So it's been, I love the music. Still love her music to this day. But I'm a quick story. I can't really be long on this video. I have time constraints, but I'm gonna try to get right to the point and give all the facts I can. So, yeah, the name of that album is called Here Comes the Sun. I had that album and another album that was before that, and it came in a double CD, and the cover was a white cover with Nina Simone's face on it. It was a double CD or double album on one disc, and I was able to listen to that. I was like, a lot of stuff was on there. You call it I walk the lonely streets. Yes, I was just a happy girl. That's her lyrics. Not, you know what I'm saying? She was a happy girl. But what else? A lot of songs on there. A lot of great. Mr. Bojangles was on there. A lot of different songs. Like, one thing I realized too. Also, there's a thing. I was on my way up here through South Carolina. I was wondering. I was like, man, I wonder where, I know Dr. Funkenstein as he would like to be called, or George Clinton. I know he's from North Carolina too. Then I was like, let me look at the map. I always tell y'all on YouTube, when you doing certain things and you're moving around, look at maps and their surrounding areas that you're going, and look at the certain things that's around it. So I said, where's he from? He's from like a town, I forget the name right now at this moment, but he's from a town outside of the exact inside city of Charlotte. Then I looked at it, I zoomed out. They're exactly horizontal to each other. Nina Simone's town, Tryon, and I forget his town he's from. They're exactly horizontal to each other. Exactly. I'm like, wait a minute. That's actually incredible, because those two artists in hip hop, they're like they are two of the most sampled artists of all time. Because I'm like, I have an ear for music. And in hip hop, I got into hip hop, and when I was able to do that, I grew up as a young kid listening to music that was before my time. So the thing I noticed, like looking at the map, they're from parts of North Carolina that's exactly horizontal line. Okay, that's one good fact. Okay, that's one fact, right? Next thing I was thinking, I'm trying to get all this in this video. Another thing I was looking at. So I look at a lot of different mythologies. So there's a Queen Charlotte, right? That was in North Carolina. But like I said, George Clinton is from a city, like a small town outside of Charlotte. I can't think of the name of it, but when you keep it going, you can look it up. But the funny thing is, Queen Charlotte, there's a Charlotte in Vodunn, or voodoo, what people like to call vodunn, and she's in the rhodorite, and also in the she also be in the petrolite, and one thing I realized, the petro is like the fire. Fire is also Sekhmet. I call Nina Simone Nina Sekhmet Simone. So I'm like, I was looking at that. I was like, huh. So Charlotte, and she said she walks with those who she likes. You can find that in the book by Milo Rigaurd. It's not like regarding something like not spelled like that. It's spelled like in the French manner. Milo Rigaurd, MILORAGAUD. If I'm not mistaken, you should be able to pull it up online. It's like a blue covering with a lot of like a painting on the front, and you'll see what I'm talking about. And Queen Charlotte, when you look at all the deities, Charlotte, she's actually Nina Simone is actually Charlotte, or descendant of Queen Charlotte. I'm gonna remember to put the video in the description box. I have a video from like 4 or 5 years ago, how she was saying, I guess you didn't know, I'm a queen, and she starts laughing, and she has this necklace on, and it's the same necklace she has, if I'm not mistaken, the same necklace she has right now in this this statue right here of Nina Simone. And she starts laughing. I guess she didn't realize I was a queen. She starts laughing, and because she's a very spiritual person, and she I think she grew up Episcopal, if I'm not mistaken, or Methodist or whatever. And like that's the same thing happened to me. I grew up in the church. I decided to pull myself out and go through, still going through. It's never over. You still always learning. Once you stop learning, that's when you spiritually is over for you. You start forgetting things. So one thing I noticed also from Nina Simone, so like I was Charlotte, Queen Charlotte. So there really is a Queen Charlotte. That's why the name Charlotte is in North Carolina. Okay, and it's right off the coast, which is what, Hades off the coast, and not the coast, but down in the the West Indies. So that's, and the crazy thing is, she lived in the West Indies. She lived in what else? She lived in Africa, and she lived in France. Now, peep, like I said, voodoo or vodunn is French, and it's Haiti. Okay, and in the Congo, you find the Congo inside the book of that same book I told y'all about. You find some Congo names inside that book, the voodoo book I was telling you about too. Also, so that's 3 out of 3. All right, so she's very, very in tune and very spiritually powerful, and it's not by coincidence she calls herself, or she's been called, I'm not sure which one is which, but the High Priestess of Soul. I never heard nobody with that name but her, the High Priestess of Soul, right? So that's even more incredible. That's and the funny another thing is, I heard Bobby Hemmitt in one of his lectures. The teacher, Bobby Hemmitt, he was speaking in one of his lectures about Nina Simone and how she had somebody that either worked for her worked for her or something, and while she was on tour, and they said they was buying some of Bobby's tapes. She said she works for or with Nina Simone. He said, really? He said, yeah. He said she watches your tapes or your videos. I was like, when I heard that, I was like, that was years ago I heard this, and I was like, and it's always stuck in my mind. Remembered it. So that's the High Priestess. So the last place she lived was France. She come to find out, she really hated America because it was so racial. And like one of the schools she was trying to get into when she was a young girl as a pianist, piano player, they didn't let her into school because she was black. A lot of racial instances to where she was playing. She was very, very good, and they would not accept her in their school. But after she passed, I found out years ago. I found this out that they had gave her an honorary acceptance. Well, you know what I'm saying? Your record speaks for itself. When you do something like that, now you want to be a part of something that's bigger than you. You know what I'm saying? That's how people in their egos are. So I wanted to go ahead and do that, and also I'm not gonna get into the story or what happened or whatever. I'm just gonna keep it like this. Also, when I was at, I'm gonna make the story really quick. I was in Spartanburg. There's a street there's a street called Church Street in Spartanburg. When you start like in that area, I wanted to start there and walk my way up. I walked up from there, Church Street, right? There's a whole bunch of churches, right? A whole bunch of them going on there. You know, I'm thinking like, well, I got a long way to go. This shouldn't be like this the whole way. So the Churches Street turns into Asheville Highway, right? Asheville Highway from Church Street. I'm not gonna say the joke I had came up when I was walking, but because I don't want nobody to try to take it, you know. Well, I'm gonna keep going. So I kept walking, right? I was like, I always, like I say, when you're looking at your maps or you around somewhere, it's different from being on a plane, being in a car, being and walking. It's always a difference because its perspective is always, you're up high in a plane, in a car, you're moving past fast things, and you're walking, you seeing everything in your peripheral or in your 360 surrounding when you look around you, right? So I'm walking. I've seen a lot of churches on this street. So it went from Church Street to Asheville Highway. You're going north. So that's the way, that's the only street, you don't have to turn anymore. Then it's gonna lead you up like 3 or 4 more towns to get to Tryon, North Carolina. So when you get to Tryon, North Carolina, you'll see this bronze statue here, right? So when you see the bronze statue here, and I'll say, hey, in the morning I'm gonna go to to her home, her childhood home, right? So I went there, right? When you get there, there's 2 churches on one corner leading into the circle where her childhood house is at. I'm like, wait a minute. This is like the same thing that that happened with Kobe Bryant when I shot the video out in Calabasas, where his helicopter, him and Gigi, it was like 7 or 8 more people that crashed with them, but it was, you know, the crashing was for Kobe Bryant. That's like a ritual of the dragon, and also Heru or Horus with his younger child, or I say Asar or Osiris with his younger child, Heru or Horus. So when they like the same thing with you know, so like with Whitney Houston and her child, Bobby Christina, you know, they died the same way, same thing. Okay, so I'm probably gonna put the video up there with the Kobe Bryant video in this description too. I gotta remember that too. So I went up there and I seen it's like one or two churches. I'm not sure if it's 2 separate buildings or whatnot. I didn't go that way to check to read the name of the buildings, but like those buildings look fairly new, you know. And I'm like, wait a minute, she was born in 1933, and passed, left her physical body in 2003, which will be, she was 70 years old when she passed. So today she's 90 years old. Okay, today she would have been 90 years old. And so when I got to the house, I looked at the and I'm like, wait a minute, this is very reminiscent of Kobe's, because it's a long street from down, like a long highway from Spartanburg all the way up into Tryon. It's like I'm gonna remember to put the video, the Kobe Bryant video, the crash site. It's a winding going up a hill, just like you go up to her house. It's going up a hill. You're going up a hill to get to her home, her childhood home. And so you see those churches. They're like they were blocking energy, or blocking that energy that she had. She said, remember I said she was once an Episcopal, or I'm not sure the exact denomination of she was in, but I think, if I'm not mistaken, it might have been Episcopal, but you put those churches right in front of there, like the same thing with Kobe's, the crash site. When you get down, when you wound around the whole mountain, get to the bottom, is a church right at the end of the mountain. So it's like you have the dragon where the crash site is, and then its tail, and then at the end of the tail you have a church. So at the top where her house is, she wouldn't be able to like spiritually try to get into or around her home. But remember, all things are possible when you're spiritually inclined. You feel me? All things are possible when you're spiritually inclined. God can't stop what's always supposed to happen. That's all I'm gonna say. But anyway though, oh yeah, before I get up out of here, 1818. So I have this book the ancestors gave to me when I was in California, LA, most precise, Los Angeles, City of Angels. So when I found all the clues of in LA about all the architecture of in LA, and then you go up to the parts of the valley, like the Nile Valley, the valley in LA, California. I found a lot of architecture that was Kemet or Kemetically or Egyptian, and the ancestors, like the same day, gave me like 2 or 3 books. Well, and this is one of the books that I end up getting. And if you look at them closely, the Monuments of Egypt, the Napoleonic edition. So what that means is the Napoleonic edition is when Napoleon in France, or the French, had ended up bringing artists to document all the things that were there before they took a lot of the monuments and documents and took it back to the Louvre in Paris in France. So what I'm gonna do is me me and Nina Simone, we sat down and looked at some of the pictures. And one of the ones I really didn't know, that I thought I'd seen almost all the pages in this book, but this book is so big. But that I thought I'd seen all of them, but I didn't. So one of the ones that I didn't know it was in here is from the Temple of Dendera. So the Temple of Dendera, right? This is the zodiac of Dendera. It's in the temple, the ceiling of Dendera. This is the zodiac, right? And check this. Right next to it, right? That's supposed to be the that's supposed to be Heru or Hathor. Okay, right there. And as you can see, this is everything in this book is in French. There's nothing in English, and I don't know French. But that's how everything happens. I had this book for a few months, and I don't want to let it go. But I know why the reasons, I know why the reasons why I have it. But I'm not going to disperse that information at this very moment in time. All I'm gonna say is the ancestors gave it to me for reasons. As you can see, it's in French. Everything is in French. So like you can kind of get some of the wording if you really can look at it, because you know it'll just kind of stand out. You know what some of the stuff means. But this is the Temple of Dendera right here, right? Okay. But this is a zodiac, the original zodiac that was made in a temple called Dendera. Then right here you have as you see, pyramids of Memphis. So Memphis, there's a Memphis in Egypt or Kemet, right? And there is next to three pyramids, and that is like the Orion's belt. You see those three stars? Those three pyramids are representative of that. But if you can see right here, you have what? The Sphinx. And the Sphinx is what? Is Sekhmet. One of the oldest deities, just like Set is one of the oldest deities in Egypt or Kemet. But remember, like the oldest ones to get vilified if certain things change. I'll just say that certain priesthood changes. So as you can see, so like the griffin is like two animals, or a person and an animal. Yeah, the same thing. So I just wanted to show that because I call this new. This is new. Those 2 pages and those I must have missed it somehow, but it came it came out to me today. But I want to make this it, and I had a great time today, and also getting here was very very hard. But remember, everything that's hard is worth having. All right. Rise in power. Nina Simone, Eunice Wayman. Ashe.